Hello and welcome to another edition of What the Hell Is She Making? My name is Malia. I've had a lot of new subscribers lately, so I'd like to welcome you all to my Falloween madness. These are cardboard pieces that came in packages of tights that I ordered my children to wear with their dresses here in the cold weather. So I like the material they're made out of. So I took it and I glued it to my drop paper that I recently made painty papers on. And then I just cut it out, and one of them is going to be one of them is going to be, covered in this drop paper as the background. So I love the size of these cards, and I love the material. They're almost like one side's a little glossy and one side's kind of satin. So I don't think it really matters like what side you glue. And I will report back on how they've held up with being glued, because I haven't really played with these much since the other day when I created them. But I will add a little disclaimer in this video to let you know how they held up. And this is some of the creepy cloth that you buy from the dollar store. You can use a cheesecloth, and you can color a cheesecloth with ink or paint or anything if you wanted to change the color. I am just dotting some wet glue and working the cheesecloth around on here. Just kind of messy and scrunchy and stuff. And it's hard because like the glue sticks to your fingers and then your fingers pull the cheesecloth pieces up, and it's just a constant battle trying to get it to work out the way you want it to. But eventually, it goes. Eventually it'll work out. I promise. Just be patient and be ginger. See? Like sticks to your fingers. Pulls the whole piece of cheesecloth. Creepy cloth, whatever they call this crap. But it's a lot of fun. Like it's really cool looking stuff because it's so random. The patterns and the holes and the stitching in it is so inconsistent, which I like. Which I really like the looks of. And I don't know if they did that on purpose or if like it's just because it's a Dollar Tree situation, if they did that on purpose or if they just made this like crap because it's being sold for $1.25. Speaking of which, did you know Dollar Tree is going to be putting most of their items back to $1 because they can't keep up with the competition of Dollar General, who puts like all of their little doodads for $1, or less. Dollar General has a lot of holiday things for 75, 60, and 75 cents, So yeah, just an FYI for all of you Americans and some of you Canadians who shop at the Dollar Tree. I left that piece on just because the glue is still wet and I didn't want to risk, cutting it off too soon. I was thinking about, covering the other side with it. You just never know. You just never know. No, I guess I did cut it. I was going to do that, though. I made this video like 3 days ago, so I don't remember what I did now. But yeah, I was going to leave it on there as a little hangy dangly piece, But yeah, I think that looks really cool with the painting paper behind it, behind the creepy cloth. I'm going to cover other things with creepy cloth. I don't know just yet what, but I promise other things are going to get creepy for real. It's going to get creepy. Things are going to get creepy cloth. It looks cool too, like for if you can manipulate it to look like a spider web. That would be pretty cool. This is skeleton garland that I got, or I don't know, is it a garland? I don't know. They're skeletons on a rope. And you hang it somewhere, so that would be like a garland, right? Skeleton hangy dudes. But this skeleton's going to be on this card now. It's going to be his new home. He just looks happy, like he's doing the jig. That's what it looks like to me. Doing a little jig. Doing a little skeleton jig. Now he's going to do a little skeleton jig on the creepy cloth. creepy cloth painty paper combo. You know, because that's the dream, to live on a piece of cloth, creepy cloth. Then you can be creepy forever. It's creepy skeleton on a creepy cloth doing the jig. Jiggy jig. Hopefully don't get tangled up in that creepy cloth, because I could see that getting kind of tangly if you try to dance on it, you know. And these things are cool because they're like a felt, but they're really hard. It's like a really hard felt. So, yeah, it's the glue doesn't seep through too much, and they stay put pretty good, you know, instead of like some softer felts that warp and dent and whatever when you try and glue it to things. These ones are, you know, stiff pieces, but they still have like the felty look when you look at it in person. So I really like him. He came out pretty cool for like a Halloween situation. So I decided for the other one I wasn't going to use the painty paper. It took me a minute, but I took a piece of dictionary paper that I had on my floor. That's why it's got tears in it. And it was already kind of crinkly, so I'm like, well, I'm just going to crinkle it up even more. You know, like the mamagami paper, but it's not quite that crinkled. It's not quite mamagami'd. It's just crinkled enough to be textured. And if you know me, you know that dictionary paper makes me happy. And I use dictionary paper on a lot of projects. I have a lot of dictionaries, and dictionaries have a lot of pages. So it works out nicely because I really will never run out of dictionary pages for my entire life, the entire course of my life, and probably my children's lives, and probably their children's lives. There will forever be enough dictionary pages to go around. Not like I think my kids are going to craft the way that I do. I wish they would, but they don't seem to have the love of it like I do. I mean, they'll do it to like appease me. Sometimes we'll sit down and glue together at the table or color or draw or something, but they don't have the passion for it like me, which is just sad. And Lily jokes around about what she's going to do with all my junk when I die. You know, we talk about mortality a lot in our house. We're always talking about who's dying. People are always dying, you know. We're always talking about what we're going to do when each other dies. Not like it's creepy. We don't do it like in a creepy way, so calm down. I ain't like scarring my kids, you know. Like, we just talk about when one of us dies, we're just going to dig a hole with the backhoe and throw them in there, you know. Oh yeah, when Dad dies, you're going to dig a hole with the backhoe and just throw them in. Oh yeah, when Mom dies, you're going to roll her down the hill, you know. I inked this one up. I do have dictionary pages that are already like distressed and antique looking, but I don't have them. They're not on my floor, ripped up and torn and ready to be used on this. So this kind of took precedence with these newer looking pages. So I ink it up just to give it a little bit of, you know, just zhuzh it up a little bit in a vintage, dingy, dirty looking way. Grungerific. You know, you gotta grunge things up. And the distress ink works beautifully for that, for the grungage. Grungage, that's a new word. You know, grungeopoly. You just gotta invent the words. There's no words to describe some of the things you create as an artist sometimes, so you gotta kinda wing it. Ooh, yes, I remember now. I had cut that piece off because I wasn't going to use a large piece on this card like I did, you know, using the whole thing and then cutting it. I was like, no, I'm not going to use an entire sheet. This one isn't going to be entirely covered with the cloth. You know, I kind of just want it to be like a blob of cloth. And I got a little bit better with the not sticking to my fingers on this one. You know, it still sticks in some places, but I'm able to get the cloth to kind of stick to the glue more than my fingers. You know, stick to the page more than my fingers, so I was proud of myself for that. You just, you know, the small victories in your artwork is what keeps us going, right? The small victories. Celebrate the small ones. And having a wet rag or some sort really helps with the glue removal and the integrity of your project. You're not ruining it with your glue fingers, so keep that in mind. So this is my fall one. I decided that the Mr. Bones over there is going to be my Halloween one, and this is going to be my fall one. So these are kind of like my memory cards for the year, where I kind of write down some of the things that I worked, or some of the, you know, fun fall activities that we did, and that we're doing this year. Not going into great detail. If I want to go into great detail, I'll make specific things for specific events or activities that we did. But this is just an overall general fall 2023 what I did type thing. And then I'll use the Halloween one for what we do for Halloween and where we go trick-or-treating and what everybody was dressed as. Not like it's going to be exciting because my kids both want to go as a cat again. Like, they just want to be a cat every year. Which is fine. Like, totally, you know, cheap in my wallet, but it's also like, you know, get a little creative. But hey, I don't have to spend $40 on a cheap ass costume, so it's a win situation. So I'm not even gonna open my mouth about it. You girls just go ahead and be cats, man. Cat it up. Be cats. These are Dollar Tree leaves. I love them. I love playing with these leaves. The glue does come through a little bit, as you can see there. It did. That's why I used the glue bottle itself to kind of press it in. Because, you know, the fingers, if I pressed it down with my fingers, the spots where the glue is could either look dirty from my fingers, could make it look dirty, or it will come up like the cloth did. These are some little sunflower things that are that are attached with like a wire. So you can use them in any kind of situation that you use wire. This is punch outs. The craft stuff I had gotten from that lady a few months back. A few months, it was like in May now. It's like a while ago now. There were these strips in there. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm not throwing them out. Like, I kept all of her punch scraps and her die cut scraps that she had in those bins. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get rid of these, because you can do stuff like this, right? And I've used some of it in my Falloween journal, on some of the spreads in my Falloween journal too, you know? So yeah, it's just total awesomeness. Use it all up, right? Don't throw things out. These oak leaves are gorgeous. I wish I had the punch for these, but I do not. I do not have the oak leaf punch. I have every other leaf under the sun. I have every other punch, every other leaf punch, but not the oak one. You know, and of course, it's like you can't be grateful for what you have. You got to have the oak one too. But I'm not buying no punches right now. I'm not buying no punches right now until I like remember the punches I have, because I'm buying like duplicates because I forget that I own. I forget what I own. So let me get used to memorizing the punches I've got first. But I like that little band with the oak leaves. On camera it kind of looks busy, but I promise it doesn't really look that busy. In person, it looks pretty cool with the creepy cloth underneath the little oak leaf holes. So yeah, you see what I mean by the wire? They're twisted together with wire, so you could use them for like floral arrangements and centerpieces, fall centerpieces or whatever. They came from the Dollar Tree. Like most of my things that I use in these come from the Dollar Tree. And I do put it on this card, and it is going to create bulk in the journal. You know, it's going to create a spot. But hey, you know what? So be it. I don't really... It's a junky book. It's never going to lay flat for me. The book is never going to lay flat. It's just going to stay chunky forever, because I just keep adding all kinds of stuff to it. And that's what I love about those composition books, is I've never once had one burst. I've never once had a composition book pop. Nope, they stay put together. No matter how much weight or crap or crud you fill it up with, they're like a good comfy pair of leggings. No matter how much you eat, and no matter how bloated you get, those leggings are like, I got you, girl. So the composition book is the leggings of the glue booking world. No matter how much you fill it up, it's like, I got you, girl. These are those maple leaf blingies that you used to, Dollar Tree used to have them, but I haven't seen them there. So I use them sparingly. I use my little blingies. I have like the maple leaves and skull and crossbones and pumpkin ones, and there's a handful. There's a handful of them, but I don't use them all willy-nilly, you know, because who knows? I might have an emergency that needs maple leaf blingage. You know, you never know when you might have a maple leaf bling emergency, a bling emergency. You know, you just don't know. So I have that little piece left, and it ain't going to waste. It will not go to waste. I promise. First, I had to drop it on the floor, though, just to make sure, you know, it just to give me a run for my money to drop it on the floor. But I use it. I'm going to use it. It will not be lost in vain. So I decide to do my little list of my fall activities. Sorry for my big ugly shoulder there. And this is one of my Sharpies. I love the Sharpie pens. They're my favorite pen right now. They don't miss a beat. I used to use the G2s, but the G2s are not as good as they used to be about 10 years ago. Now they're very inconsistent. So far in fall 2003, we've had gorgeous weather. The weather has been great and dry, and you know, not a lot of rain. So that's what I put there, very little rain. And so there's been lots of fun activities that have been going on locally. Dry, breezy days. Yep, today was a cooler day. It was breezy and beautiful. There have been a lot of fun fall festivals. We have gone to one so far, and it was a lot of fun. We went to a fire last weekend, which was a lot of fun. Good time of year to have a fire outside. The cool nights are nice to go outside and enjoy the air.
And your loving husband likes to make you happy.
And my loving husband likes to make me happy. So hot drinks, you know, a good time for a hot tea. Go outside with your coffee and enjoy the cool air. Lots of school activities. My daughter in kindergarten made apple pie. So, you know, it's fun fall things they're doing in school. They're having a fall festival. I purchased some funky socks, which are nice for the cold weather. Everybody likes some funky socks. That I was debating on whether or not to add a little glue to that corner, but I decided, you know what, you only live once. So I'll probably add more stuff to that list as it goes. You know, I'll probably continue to put things that we do. And I put a staple there, because why not? Staples are fun. I like to add staples to the things that I'm working on. And I use my vintage stapler to do that. Goes through anything I try and put it through. Unlike the cheap staplers you get now, you know, I bought a Dollar Tree stapler once. What a mistake that was. It wouldn't even staple through itself. It wouldn't even staple nothing. So I'm looking through some of my junk. See if there's anything I want to add to Mr. Skeleton here, Mr. Bones. And those are my little skull blingies. Again, used sparingly. They don't exist. They might not exist ever again for the rest of our lives. Although I haven't checked every Dollar Tree this year. Last year, I did go looking for them, and I didn't find them at most of my local Dollar Trees. And I haven't really scoured all the local Dollar Trees in their fall sections this year because I don't need anything. But I would like to see if anybody has any of these ones in stock any of these blingy things because they are fun to use. And I've used them in every fall journal I've made so far. They've had them, there were like 2 or 3 falls that I found them, and then they've been missing. So, yes, it's a small hand there. Little bitty hand just showed up for a second. I don't know if it comes. Yep, it comes back. She points out what she likes, and I show her my fall activity list so that she can see what I am loving about fall this year. And we are going to find a place to put these in the Falloween journal in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that.